Welcome to another edition of Classic Model Trains. Let me get myself put together here a little bit, and then we can get this episode going. I feel awfully tired. Awfully tired.
Looks like somebody's having way too much fun with their green screen, huh? Yeah. October, Halloween, my favoriteest holiday that's out there. So don't worry, these weird things aren't going to last forever because October's almost done. But let's get underway with this revival. Well, let's get started on this Athearn GP-7 Milwaukee Road colors here. This one showed up. I think it last showed up on my I bought 21 locomotives sight unseen, how many will run. This one did not run. It's got a lot of dirt on it, and it's missing all of its railings, it's missing its horns. It's also had broken out motor mounts. Oh yeah, sure. We got new motor mounts here from Athearn, the local hobby shop had these. The local hobby shop had some new horns I could glue in there, and local hobby shop also had some stanchions 3/8 of an inch long, and I picked up some wire here. 0.0245 is what this is. A little thicker than prototypical, but I like a thicker wire because for some reason I like to manhandle them, and I always end up bending them or something like that. So the stronger I can make them, the happier I am. Getting started on the disassembly, getting the body off. My thumbs never seem to work to pry these things out. Well, I guess it worked that time. Okay enough. So here's a motor that's in there just flopping around. So get this body, we're gonna wash it up and make it look pretty. This one is a little newer. I'm thinking in the 80s, because it's got the flywheels on it, and it does look like it's got a 5-pole armature. We're gonna have to get in there and get this all cleaned up real nice. These trucks are being held in from this gear tower right here. There's this cover that snaps on. So you get under here with a small screwdriver and you pry out, and that'll come off. Shoot it across the room. See if you can loose it behind some boxes. Helical gear right here. These right here are bushing blocks. And underneath them, there's supposed to be thrust washers. There's a thrust washer here. Let me see if I can get here. Here he is right there. Supposed to be one right there. Once you take that off, of course, the truck comes right out. These side frames, they'll pop right off. Be careful not to break them when removing, of course. There's just this one little couple pins holding all this on. We'll get these out so we can wash them, make them pretty. I want to be able to get into this gear set in here and inspect it. Top cover comes off. Pry up underneath of it. Bottom cover should come off the same way. Prying in here very carefully to unlock the lock tab right down in there. Do it on the other side as well. They make good plastic. It's not all crabby and brittle and snaps and breaks, and I like that in a manufacturing company. These axles pop out, and then the gear tower will come apart. Yeah. Different design than any of the other Athearns that I've worked on so far. They just like to update things. If anybody knows what era or circa that this type of truck is, throw it in the comments down below. Share some of that great information that everybody has. I'd like to know the eras and when they broke them down specifically with each individual design. Look, there's even little bearing blocks down inside here. So these axles are rolling in brass bushings or brass bearings. A bushing bearing. That's super nice. That means this thing is built to last a long time. So right there is what one of these trucks looks like broken down. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to use my odorless mineral spirits here to clean up any grease. These things look so damn dry, I don't think there's any grease in them. Simple Q-tips. I'm gonna go through and just wipe out everything that I can in through here. Check these gears, wipe them off with a toothbrush going across like this. And then the wheels, of course, be wiped down. Looks like they got some rust in them right through here. Then we'll shine them up either one of two ways, using one of these little fiberglass pencil things here, which I'm still up in the air about. This is a little tiny piece of Bright Boy scrub on them, and I think that this seems to do a better job. You know, these wheels are dirty. Dirty. So I'm going to clean all these up, and we'll be back for the lubrication and assembly of the trucks. Oh, I gotta tell you guys, these are some of the dirtiest wheels I've ever come across. I've cleaned this one up over here. Of course, this thing wouldn't touch it at all. This wasn't hardly doing anything. I had to get my little brass brush out, and I really had to work on that to get that off. They must have drove this down a gravel road or something like that in the mud, because, oh jeez, there's gonna be a lot of labor involved in getting these wheel sets cleaned up over here. Yep, Now that I got everything cleaned up here, we're going to start the reassembly process by installing these gears. Got some Labelle 108 synthetic oil, and we will just lubricate up these shafts here a little bit, give them a little taste, and hopefully you remembered which way you took the gears off, what their order of importance was. In case you forgot, they look like that. I'm gonna give the top of these gears just a little drink right now, because I've got really good access to them. And these two halves fit together. This metal that's riveted on here is what's conducting the current. These wheels, they're not touching each other on the inside. You can see you can pull these apart right here. So this is, of course, it's got 8-wheel pickup, 8-wheel drive. You want to give your wheels a little torquey, try to twist one this way, try to twist one the other way, to make sure that this gear that's inside here isn't cracked or stripped out or something like that, creating a little havoc. After you pull these apart, of course, you're going to want to check the gauge on them. Just, you know, because you're right here, you might as well. It's easy enough. Now there's these little bushings down here, these bearing blocks. They need some oil. You take the gear off, then you can get the bushing block out. You can give it just a little taste, just a little bit less than too much. That seems to me to be the best way of getting them blocks completely oiled up. Do the same with this one. Take it apart, get the block off. Of course, I did clean all these up, took it during the disassembly phase. And cleaning, oh, sounds like we're being invaded by raccoons. Once again, maybe a squirrel. Got a crack team on it. Check my gauge. Take our bottom cover, well, put a little grease, a little oil on this gear back here. Get our cover snapped back on. Of course, when you get done reassembling the truck, you want to make sure that your gears and everything are rolling nice and smooth in there. This area right here is the electrical pickup for the chassis. The frame pin right here gets juice. So you want these to be clean. And then under here, on this tab, is where this upper bar sits under here. So that's why you gotta, of course, make all this stuff just as clean and as pretty as you can. Then these Bloomberg truck covers, just push back in. There's some pins to keep everything lined up. I see that the original locomotive, these are the colors of the trucks. Some trucks, I take them and paint them silver to make it match the prototypical locomotive. This one here is doing a good job. So that's what one truck looks like when it's done. Now up here, of course, you'd take this gear, clean it, and then these bearing blocks would get lubed under in here. In here, somebody's taken this apart some time ago and lost the thrust washer. Always losing the thrust washers. Now that I got this all clean, I think I'm going to take some of my premium carbon conductive grease. Just a taste. Just a little drink. This has been cleaned up down here. So I'm going to put that in this area here to help with conductivity. This goes down on top. Get your bearings in the bearing block. Yeah. This one here, I'm going to use some of this multi-purpose synthetic grease on it. There's a lot going on this one. Then when you reinstall this cap, just simply pushes on the top. Looks like this when it's in, and that's what keeps the truck from falling out. I have to do all that again up over here. So we will clean this truck up. Now we got both of our trucks cleaned up. This little clear area right down here is where the bottom of the motor picks up the contact, its juice from the frame. So we want that to be nice and clean right down there. That's why there's no paint on it. And then this is where the lower pickup is at, upper pickup. Want these all nice and clean. Now the brushes are being held in by these pickups. So you can take these off by flipping this off, spring, brush assembly. Now these are the ones that, you know, guy doesn't want to lose. Shuts down your whole show. I want to get these brushes out so I can work on cleaning out this armature right in there. Using just some mineral spirits to get the grease off of it initially. Ay, yeah. I mean, then of course your brushes, one end has got a line in it, one end don't. The end that don't is the part that is rubbing against the armature. Clean those. Sure, this little guy comes in really handy on these. Clean it out between these commutators right here. So we want to put these back in, put the brush in that doesn't have the line in it. That goes down. Brush spring. Bottom of the motor's got these motor mount tabs. In case you forget what goes where. Put it on. Push it in. That's a done deal. Same up here. Want to get a little oil on the end of the armature. This is the area where you put just the tiniest little taste. Here and over here on this side. New Athearn motor mounting pads. These ones screw in. We're gonna need 2 of the blocks and 4 of the screws out of this packet here. Gonna slip it in. That's either tapered to match the motor. One in like so. The other one's gonna come in from the other side. So this is what they look like. Well, I've been fighting this motor for quite some time now. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I see how it's crooked. The motor mounts won't allow it to go in all the way because this area right back here is in the way. So now this showed up not put together, it was in pieces. But this motor was in the body, so I assumed it to be the original motor. But man, oh man. So I am taking the old hand-powered mill here, and I'm milling these areas down right through here, trying to get this thing to fit in here. I just can't believe it. We got to go through this much work just to put a motor in. My goodness, you'd think I was engineering the space shuttle or something like that. Now the motor's laying in there flat. Can start all over putting the trucks in. We'll work on getting this motor bolted in with these new fandangled motor mounts. Maybe this thing was just somebody's Frankenstein's monster, actually. And it showed up here somehow, I don't know. Me opening up my wallet, buying stuff. Maybe it was donated to me. I can't. I thought it'd be really easy. I didn't think I'd have to bust out all my fabrication skills to get it to work. Screws are in. Motor looks like it's in there flat. Now we can start all over putting them trucks in. This premium carbon conductive grease, it gets everywhere. It's all over my, oh my goodness. It's some, carbon. They should call it conductive soot grease. Bring it in here like this. So we got the truck centered up on the pin, bolster, and then fighting this little guy, rotating these little square bushing blocks. Just, yeah, oh, yep, damn it, don't roll it. Yeah. Sneak this guy in. Did I pull that? I think I got that pulled off. Gear tower goes towards the back of the locomotive. Get in here on the bolster pin. Line up the groove and the drive line. Get the bushing blocks lined up, get them in there. There it is. Snap this cover on. Sure. We're getting close to running this thing. This is pretty filthy. The ends of these make contacts, so they gotta be clean. Take this guy and clean this bar up. See how it doesn't, it's not really touching right here. Not really at all. Certainly not touching up here. Person's got to take these things. They have to modify them. You have to get them into a shape, happy like a smiley face. So there's upward pressure on them truck pickups when it's installed. And it only goes on one way too, because it can't run into the flywheels. We can put it on the track and see what it does. When I got my direction switch facing towards the left here, the locomotive is supposed to go forward. And this one's going backwards. So my its polarity is reversed. I believe that I've got the trucks on backwards. If I take this one and put it in the back and this one put it in the front, that'll change which side of the track it picks up on. It'll make this go the directions it's supposed to go. Pop those trucks off, spin them around, put them back on. Something to pay attention to. Oh, sure. Yep. Never surprises me how loud these things are. Just noise stuff. Remember, we're not impressed on how fast it goes. We're more impressed on how slow it goes. 2.5 volts, drawing 1/4 amp. I'm pretty impressed with that. Let's get on to the body. Well, now that we got the chassis working really well, and the body looks okay, but I want to build some handrails for this thing. And I don't want this episode to last half an hour, 45 minutes, because you guys got things to do. You just want to pop in, take a quick look, and shoot on out. So I'm going to make a part 2 for making the hand railings on this thing. But don't worry, they're being released at the exact same time. Watch this one. So go out, have a smoke and a beer, come back, watch part 2, because I released them at the same time. Just click on it. It'll if I can figure out how to use YouTube right, there'll even be a thing right at the end of this video. So thanks for watching part 1. Check out part number 2.